mentioned or highlighted by the Minister of the FCT during his media chat. Now, I'm pretty sure you followed, and for many of you, you must have heard bits of what he said in the news. We don't have the time to play everything he said. I would just only highlight or paraphrase some of the areas he touched on. Number one that got a lot of people talking was the 8-point agenda that was earlier agreed upon in the president's intervention when the feud between the governor and the FCT minister first started. Now, at the beginning of that feud, they had this meeting. They had former Governor Peter Odili, other leaders of the state present to witness the signing of that agreement. And the FCT minister's position is that, well, he mentioned one thing that the assembly at the time, led by Mewule, was asked to do, which was to withdraw impeachment proceedings, insisting that that was the one thing that they were supposed to do based on what the agreement said. Well, we'll find out if it was only that or there are more. Amongst many other allegations, including shots that were fired towards the direction of the judiciary, I would also look at that. And most importantly, we'll get an update on what the state government is doing for Rivers people in this year, 2025. The Honorable Commissioner Joe Johnson. Sir, thank you for joining us and good morning to you.
Good morning.
I should say,
good morning to Rivers people.
I should say Happy New Year as well, because it's the first time.
Happy New Year to Rivers people and Happy New Year to all Nigerians.
All right, let's cut to the chase and save as much time as possible. I'd like us to first address the elephant in the room. It would be some of the comments that was made by the FCT minister precisely as it concerns the 8-point agenda that was drafted with the president's involvement and parties involved that agreed at the time to implement those the lists in that the agendas in that the list in that 8-point agenda. And so far at the time, some of them were, I think there was one that was a major problem, which was the presentation of the budget. Anyways, the minister has opened that, well, for the Amaule group at that time, they were only expected to withdraw the impeachment proceedings or procedure. Can you tell us more about that 8-point agenda and what each parties were expected to do?
Well, good enough that I was in Abuja and in Aso Rock on that special visit. The proclamation that was presented by Mr. President, the first item on that proclamation was that all matters in court be withdrawn. Number one, all matters in court be withdrawn.
Was this, sorry to interrupt, Honorable Commissioner, was this for, at the time, those who were with the FCT minister or those who were with the governor or everybody?
Everybody. All matters means all matters, because parties were in court against each other. Recall that when they defected on the 11th of December, we got a judgment from Justice Dana Gogo that gave rise to the signing of the Appropriation Act of 2024. There was a court, the Rivers State High Court, that recognized that Eddie Sineri as speaker. So on the strength of it that we presented the budget, which was eventually signed into law. That budget had already been signed into law when we proceeded to Abuja on the 18th of December. I don't know if this one is straight, but that's one. When we got to Mr. President on the 18th, the President presented an 8-point agenda. Number one amongst it is withdraw all cases in court. We came back, we drew our case before Justice Omotosho, for which they got a default judgment. They continued in disobedience to Mr. President's directive. So we did our own part. They went on, got the judgment they ran with. But they didn't know that that judgment was done this, because they declared that they were members of APC. And even before Mr. President, they admitted that they were members of APC when Chief them away. You know, that answer in affirmative is to say yes. You will not drive them away. So they were members of APC before Mr. President. When they came back and probably saw that they had made a fundamental error when the kick started, they tried to capitulate, to say that no longer members of APC, they are now members of PDP. They started, flirting with parties, either in APC function, Apollo Club, with Tony Okocha, or the PDP in Oman, or in cahoots with the SAC PDP chairman, Aaron Chukwemeka. So on our own part as a government, we did all that was required on that 8-point agenda. Not even one was.
But the budget was not represented, which was a point that was made.
The budget got, when the court gives you an order, the court has recognized somebody. The court has said this was speaker. And on the strength of the legal implications of it, we told the part of legality. So how do you represent a budget that become an act? Can an act, a law, be put on another law?
We'll come to the part of the court, because the FCT minister said quite a lot, where he said, that it was the government who, had people go behind to institute court processes that would stop them from representing the budget and so on and so forth. This was some of the allegations that he also made. How would you respond to that?
I don't want to join issues with the FCT minister. The governor had no reason to go to court if at the issue they didn't set the house on fire. The governor never went to court. The people who went to court, who started the illegal gymnastics, were the Amerula and the group. They initially went to Donatus Okorowo's court. That was the beginning of court matters. Ran away from Donatus Okorowo, ran to Omotosho. At this point, we never went to any court. They took us to Omotosho's court. We withdrew our case from Omotosho, where we were sure that if that matter had gone on, we would have been able to win that case. They have been going to court. If it's not Federal High Court, they go to Abdul Malik. If it's not Abdul Malik, they go to Omotosho. They have been trading with courts. We have no business going to court. What the government has been doing is to concentrate and try to deliver the dividends of democracy to Rivers people, which is the shared contract that you have with Rivers people.
All right. One other important thing was at the point where it became, legally impossible to represent the budget. One question the FCT minister asked, which I would put to you, was whether the president was then informed that, see, on this agenda, this particular part of it, Mr. President, it can't be done because of constitutional provisions. Was any other meeting held to brief the president on the outcome of the peace deal he was trying to negotiate, which resulted in that 8-point agenda?
No, but if something is right, whether it is right on earth or in heaven. You gave us an 8-point agenda. We came back, started implementing. Number one is withdraw all cases in court. It's a step-by-step engagement. We went withdrew. We didn't know that they didn't withdraw their own part. Don't forget that there were the plaintiffs in this matter. We are just defendants in the matter. If we, the plaintiffs, we, the defendants, withdraw our own matter, the plaintiffs ought to also have done the same. But they never did that. We went to number two. You say, do not dissolve local government. The governor did not dissolve any local government. The local government chairman served to the end of the tenure. You said take back the 9 commissioners who resigned. The governor took back the 9.
All right, Honorable, pause there. Let's take a short commercial. We'll continue afterwards. River State government had implemented before everything broke down. And I think you were at the place of taking back the commissioners, 9 of them.
Yes, we took them all back. Returned them to their original positions. Not one was swapped. They were all returned to their positions, and then I don't know where we paid also the remunerations that was hitherto withheld, as also contained in the proclamation. The president said, pay them all the entitlements. Every money is belonging to them. We honored that. Is there anyone we did not honor?
So at what point?
We didn't dissolve local government councils served out the tenors. We all saw them here. They finished the tenor in June. We had a caretaker for 3 months, and then we had a democratically elected council in October. And it was open to everybody. It was a general election. Even the PDP, which is our party, refused to honor that election.
All right.
And another strange party won the election.
So at what point did the state government feel like this agreement, the other party is not fulfilling their part, we are not going to continue? Was there any point like that?
We fulfilled our own part of the agreement. There was no part we didn't fulfill. Now, when the assembly people returned, they started repealing laws that they made. They started repealing, turning the laws upside down, and trying to take over the position of the governor. At some point, they even screened members of the River State House of Assembly Service Commission. They appointed the persons, screened, and even swore in. That is trying to take over the leadership of the state through the back door. And at that point, of course, every normal human being will begin to sense rats or smell rats. So that they screened, they will appoint, they will, the law that they have met, they will repeal, they will say no to this. You also the drama playing out. And at that point, the governor also felt that he needs to stand up because he was on oath, both oath of allegiance and oath of secrecy. You ought to rise to defend the integrity of the state.
All right. We'll come to some more questions, but let's first take a few calls. I'm sure several people would have contributions to make and questions to ask. We'll take some of those calls, and then we come back and get your opinion on what the state government is doing. Amadi Anthony says the FCT minister is correct. 8-point agenda by Mr. President. The governor would have gone back to the president and point out the ones he could not do and give his reasons. Kilsey Karikbo says the judgment of Omotusho should have been an academic exercise if a preparation bill had already been represented. The Honorable Commissioner is not being truthful. The order given by Justice Danagogo was dismissed by the courts. God's Power Egbono says the governor's refusal to fully implement the 8-point peace agreement was a slight on Mr. President. Recall that Mr. President saw both the governor and the minister as his children. Those messages are coming on from Facebook. Even when he openly declared that the agreement was not a death sentence and that he was prepared to do anything for peace to reign in River State. I remember vividly the comments made by the governor after we returned from that peace deal agreement. I think it was a broadcast, and the governor clearly stated that he was going to implement every part of that agreement as long as it does not infringe on I'm paraphrasing now, I can't get exact words. I think on the rights of Rivers people and the laws of the constitution of the country. I think paraphrasing, he said something in that line. Was that a signal to the fact that the governor already saw some things that were not constitutional that it wasn't going to look at?
Listen, thank God you're paraphrasing, but what the governor had done, the governor truly understands that was a political intervention, which was the best option as at that time. But if there is a constitutional wedge where you cannot breach the constitution in trying to execute a directive, of course, you have to have a rethink. Now, I'm saying that Justice Danagogo had recognized Edison as Speaker. It was on the strength of which that presentation of the budget was made to Edison. That House eventually passed it into law, became an act. Can you take an act? Will the governor sign that act twice? Once the governor signs, it becomes law. It was already a law even before Mr. President. So if it was included in that proclamation, well, it is probably because Mr. President was not seized of the information that that budget had already been presented to a recognized house by law, and it has been signed into law. It had become an act.
All right. Opusunju Uche says, obviously, the FCT minister is trying to spur Mr. President to influence the Supreme Court judgment. The question we should all ask is why the sudden media parley by the FCT minister 24 hours before Supreme Court begins hearing on the defection matter? All right, let's go to the phone lines.
That's a valid question.
Is that what you think? Do you share the same opinion with that viewer?
This whole suddenness matter, an appearance we had in December 2023. Suddenly, as the Supreme Court was to hear the matters yesterday, the FCT minister had a media parley. The baby dies in the night, and they say the old crows in the night, and the baby dies in the morning. We do need to ask questions. There must be a commutation. There must be something that is up, being cooked. But the God that we serve will take charge.
All right, 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0003. The numbers to call, 0817-923-0007. You can also call 0817-923-0002. A quick question here from one of the viewers on Facebook. He's saying, for local government council chairman, what is happening with the minimum wage implementation at that level? Has there been any effort by the state government to perhaps call this chairman and know what it is that they are doing and how they intend to implement that as quickly as possible?
Are you asking me?
Yes, that's a message. Yes, a question from a viewer on Facebook. So I'm asking.
Okay, I'll try to interface with the local government to be able to give an appropriate answer to it. But I know that the local government are another tier of government. The local government is a third tier of government. They operate, even there is a local government autonomy. So I will not be able to, outrightly state what the position is, but I need to interface and then probably get back to us in our next discussion.
All right. Muriel in Okrika, let's start with you. Good morning, Muriel.
Hi, Femi, good morning. This is Dr. Woman.
Okay.
Well, let me greet the Honorable Commissioner. Commissioner, good morning, sir.
Absolute Dr. Woman.
I want you to please tell the governor that I am proud of him and all his decisions. Thank you, sir. Look, Femi, as long as I am concerned, it is the president that aggravated the issue in this state. Honestly, that is my own humble opinion. Look, if the president has handled this matter when it got to him constitutionally, we won't be having all these issues. We won't be having all this. Everything would have been going on smoothly. But you want to tell me that until we satisfy one person in this state, that the state will not move on financially, I say it's a big lie, see me. The vast majority of the Rivers people are hardworking. And we believe that whatever is due us will get to us, irrespective of who likes it or not. Now, Supreme Court wants to start hearing the matter, and you're telling me that automatically someone has gotten a media tap. Why? Let's see if the Supreme Court will go against the Constitution. We are all waiting, you hear me? You get the governor eight commandments. I always call it 8 commandments. Okay, as a well-trained son of River State, he decided to start implementing it. All of a sudden, the people that you gave him this commandment for, they came back, they made it accepted. Already they want to start again what they did before they even look. They want to start working against the governor. How do you expect him to accept it? If it's the president or the minister, will they accept it? Look, we are waiting for the court judgment. We don't care whether a king of death come out to give around. We are going to watch. We are
All right.
watching the film. Thank you.
Ida is in Nkoro. Ida, good morning.
Yeah, my own Commissioner for Information, good morning.
Tell the
Tell the governor not to be scared. The Almighty God is there with him. No matter the media chat. Through this crisis now, my brother, we have achieved a lot in River State. We go to airport, white men are trooping in River State day by day. Yesterday I go out at night, nobody harmed me. I was coming out, I was not late, and nobody even answer myself. So River State is very peaceful. There is no gunshot. So, former Governor of River State, please allow River State to be. You rule River State for 8 years. Nobody interrupts you. Nobody disturbs you. Allow this God-sent governor the most of our time to take River State to the promised land. Thank you very much. God bless. I remain on the radar from.
All right, Ida, thank you. I will take more calls, 0817-923-0002. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
All right, go on.
Yes, my name is JJ, and I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
Andrew, if they say all cases in court should be withdrawn, it's simple English, right? What does that mean? And you are now overriding. I remember during Buhari's administration, when he turned down the Electoral Act for 3 times, none of the National Assembly said, let's override him. One is to override, you want to take over, you want to become is it Enrique Lopobri or what's that guy's name? In Bayes, you want to overnight and just overrule because you think the governor don't have power. Now, the question is, the FCT minister and even the present president, when he was governor, will they allow this to happen in their state? And the question I want to ask the Commissioner for Information right now, sir, with due respect, that 8-point agenda, was it as a result of putting us together, discussing, to now agree and say, okay, let's go and type the agreement and brought it down? And if it were so, how come that Dr. Peter Odili, that they gave the agreement to read to everybody, was not a signatory to that agreement? So what are we talking about here? I will conclude by telling you that even the presidential intervention that didn't sanction those people who left their party to another based on the constitution was the biggest confusion of all time.
All right. JJ, thank you. Honorable Commissioner, you wanted to respond to something he said.
That as we sat down and Mr. President walked in, he came in with that paper.
Oh, the agreement was not drawn up in the presence of everybody.
He came in, he said he had, yes, he came in. It was not a matter of discussion and then agreeing to do anything. He came in with that paper.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, I need you to rephrase that so we get it clearly. You are saying that the agreement was not written in the presence of everybody.
The question JJ asked is, was it that proclamation? The word is proclamation. Mr. President came in with that 8-point proclamation. As we all sat and came in, after the preambles that he did, he said he had an 8-point proclamation. And he gave to Dr. Peter Odili to read, for which he read. And then the meeting ended.
Chima and Rumokuta, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir. It's Amy.
All right.
Yeah, I greet the commissioner at the studio. I am calling for Rumokuta. The issue here is that it is the governor of River State that is instigating all this problem that is happening in the state. Now, let me ask one question. Who went to see the president for peace for this reconciliation initially? It was the governor.
All right. Honorable Commissioner, let's just allow him finish so you respond to him completely.
He told the governor, you came to meet me. And when they came back, you understand, when everything was being put in place, the impeachment process was withdrawn, which is the main thing at hand. Then you went to withdraw your case from the court. What was the case in the court concerning the assembly members? Let nobody come and declare our position vacant. It doesn't have anything to do with the governance of River State or the government. It does not have anything
But
to do
was it in the agreement that everybody should withdraw their cases in court?
The agreement what was in the agreement was that withdraw your case in the court and withdraw your impeachment process.
So did everybody withdraw their cases in court?
That case in particular does not even concern the
No, what
governor.
did the agreement did not say the case that concerns Chima? Let's be realistic. We have the agreement here. It says everybody withdraw your cases in court. The question I'm asking you is, did everybody withdraw their cases in court?
The cases that is in court that you withdraw, it's not the case that will affect the opposition.
That is not what the agreement said. It said everybody withdraw your cases in court. So did everybody withdraw their cases in court?
Now, Mr. Efemi, let me ask you one question now.
Chima, we don't have that time. You're not answering my question. Honorable Commissioner, you wanted to respond to what he said.
And you can see that he came unprepared. The government is not in any way instigating anything. We all know those instigating the Wahala. Starting from the 27 lawmakers who will come back and begin to repeal laws that they have made that existed even before this government came. You come and turn it upside down. You want to make the speaker governor. He would nominate a candidate for a candidate for an office. He will screen him. He will give him position, and he will swear him in. Is that the duty of the judiciary?
All right, let's take two more calls.
A way of speaking the Wahala.
Let's take two more calls quickly, and then we wrap things up with you. Forum in Echie, quickly, let's hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I have a very simple question, and the question goes like this. Yes, the Honorable Commissioner said that Justice Danagogo gave Edison the right to accept the budget from the governor. Yes, I'm asking now, ever since then, have we not had a judgment from higher court by Court of Appeal? And should a court of competent of jurisdiction, which is the highest court like Supreme Court, says otherwise, what would the River State government do? What would the River State government, because there is no sincerity of purpose in what the commissioner is saying. So you answer this question, please.
All right, Jude Nomuma, quickly, before we go back to the commissioner. Go on.
Yeah, the 8-point agenda the governor signed, and what he said that he will do everything possible to implement the agenda to the letter. In the interest of Rivers people, I think derailing from that agreement after the signature, after signing it, is the best thing the governor has done for Rivers people. That agreement was meant to enslave us. When he came back after signing that agreement, we, the Rivers people, including me, shouted and called him all manner of names. Why did you sign that? Now, he implemented some of them. Those he did not implement is because he listened to the Rivers people. He listened to what we said. And that's ending the support we have garnered now from Rivers people. That agreement was to enslave us. We're not talking about the president. Does the president have that constitutional power? Does he have the legal power to look into?
All right, Jude from Mamuma.
All the states or some of the states.
Thank you. That's the much you can take. Honorable Commissioner, you said something I'd want to put a question to. You said the president came in with the agreement. So it meant that everybody who was seated there did not know who, or is there any idea who would have sat down with the president to draft that agreement?
I'm not a spiritist. I cannot know that the president came in with his full complement of the members of his cabinet who were part of it. But
because somebody would have given the president an insight of what the situation is in the state, and it is based on that he would have drafted the agreement. So if he's aware of the situation with the assembly and everything that's going on, then one would only ask, who did he draft the agreement with before coming to present it to everybody?
That's the question that should be begging for an answer. But the point I'm making is that of the 8-point agenda, there is none that we did not implement. There is none that was not implemented. I overheard the FCT minister saying it was a constitutional reconciliation or constitutional resolution. No, it was a political intervention. Political intervention, not a constitutional intervention. Because if we say it is a constitutional matter, he knows that as a lawyer, when you do an agreement, you notarize it. And there must be a section to be binding on this agreement. This was just merely a political intervention in attempting to resolving the matter. That is the truth of the matter.
All right.
It was a political intervention, not a constitutional intervention.
Okay, because we don't have a lot of time. We would have loved to hear some developments in the state with regards to infrastructure. I'd like you to just dwell on one: agriculture. We've heard a long time, despite the recent sad demise of expatriate that was to help with the cassava processing, really sad. But we've heard quite a lot about the Songhai farm. What is the state? I remember a committee was even set up. What level of work?
There is a 5-man task force that is handling the issue of the Songhai farm. Beyond the Songhai farm, we're doing exploits in other farms. But if you are
which other farms?
You see, of course, there is the school to land. There are other farms in Olele. There are farms that are littered all over the ADP and the rest of it at Obiakpo. But the point I'm trying to make is that by the setting of this government, we are not a noise-making government. In the first quarter of this year, perhaps between now and March, we begin to see yields of what we have done since we started the Songhai farm. Don't forget that farm was abandoned more than 10 years ago. The site clearing alone is something else, and then we begin to do a lot of restoration of what it has existed there. So let's Rivers people need to be patient and see how the days ahead will present.
Then one more.
How much for putting the budget fast? It tells you that we're serious. We never had this before.
Okay, one more quickly because of time. What is the hold up with regards to the syringe factory and the cardiovascular hospital? Why aren't these up and running?
I thought what we should look at is the restoration of the fire service, because where we are now, every day is fire here and there. We have been able to revive activities in our 3 fire services, beginning with the Borokiri, the one at the Mawa flyover, and then the one
we had a conversation with the director, and also we heard from the Commissioner for Health on these ambulance emergencies and all of those with the fire service and how they are collaborating.
It tells you that we're trying to look at almost all the spheres. If you go to the health sector, there was no intermediate facility. We're trying to put,
Honorable Commissioner, because of time, we Rivers people have gotten this. We've talked about it several times. But the syringe factory would help quite a lot, especially with the hospitals that were putting up at the primary level and the zonal hospitals. They would need that service.
We're doing one thing at a time. The syringe factory is a product of the Rivers State government. It is a project of the Rivers State government. I'm believing God so that this governor, who has been long in the system as a civil servant, understands what the financial implications of, and some of the, if there are legalese around some of them, I'm sure that we'll try to see how we can disentangle them. But whatever it is, Rivers people be rest assured that we shall do all that we are promised to do in our 37-page blueprint. And I believe in God that God will give the governor the wisdom to be able to address them. Don't forget too that the finances that we are putting in is more than 3 times. The salaries of civil servants have gone up. We've done some of the things that I've never done before. We gave Christmas bonuses to pensioners and civil servants. So we have a lot on our plate. Now, whatever it is, be rest assured that we shall revive all the moribund industries, including trying to reindustrialize the Samadi sector. So,
all right.
A little bit of things is what we ask for.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. That's the much we can take. Have yourself a great day.
Bye.
Thank you. We'll take a commercial now. We'll come back and take some messages afterwards.
Nigeria Info will be right back.